If you suck at social media, so will your career. We're gonna talk about that in this video. It doesn't matter how much time, energy, and money you put into whatever your talent is, creating music, creating videos, the talent factor alone isn't gonna get you the results that you want, because how are people gonna find you? How are people gonna discover you when no one knows who you are? Let's stop and think just for 1 second. Where can you reach people from all around the world at any given time? It's on social media. Now, if this was back in the day, we'd be talking about newspaper, and if everyone's reading the newspaper, you need to show up in the newspaper. If you fast forward a little bit more, everyone was watching TV, and so you needed to show up on commercials. Nowadays, everyone's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, all the different social media platforms. So therefore, if you're not in those places, how the hell do you expect to have a career? All right, you guys, so I'm down here in Orlando, Florida, and I'm about to link up with the very talented Adam IV.
What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Nice to meet you in person.
What's up, everyone? My name is Cracka. Welcome back to Cracka TV. Today, I have the one and only Adam IV share some gems with you guys about the importance of social media.
You are the only person that I've ever met that pronounces my name Adam IV.
What is it?
It's like fancy. It makes me feel, it's just Ivy.
Ivy?
Yeah.
Like poison ivy.
Because the way you say it, Adam IV, it almost is like Roman numeral 4.
Yeah.
I'm
it's
like
a
Adam
watch
4.
company or some
Yeah. So from now on, I'm gonna pronounce my name
Adam IV.
Adam IV. What's happening? It's Adam IV.
There we go.
I feel like French or something. That's kind of fancy.
Today, the excuse of, oh, I suck at social media, that flew in what, 2005, 2006, maybe 2010, but that's the day and age that we're living in right now.
Absolutely. Like, there's so many people out there that see social media and they're intimidated by it. Whether you're just starting to make music, whether you've been making music for 10 years, the importance of social media doesn't look like it's really legitimate up front, because you're like, well, I may need to make music, I need to build a brand,
right.
I need to be this guy that's going to be the next Lil Wayne, the next Drake, the next Ed Sheeran, if you're not into hip hop. But the importance of social media is not about necessarily building a bunch of fans to go to your music. It's about building a bunch of fans that care about you, because I don't remember the last time that I ever became a raving fan of somebody because I saw a Spotify ad with their new single. I need to care about a person. There's an emotional trigger, no different than if you see a commercial for McDonald's, if you see a commercial for Ford, the auto manufacturer, if you see a commercial for Nike, it makes you feel a certain sort of way, maybe patriotic, maybe it makes you feel motivated to get out there and lace up your shoes and go kick a soccer ball for the first time in 5 years. But the importance of social media is all about being social with a group of strangers that you can convert to followers, that you can convert to fans. And so there's so many people out there that just look at the craft. They just look at what they want to fill the shelves with in their store, but they don't care about the store itself. So they have this huge product pile of songs, of music videos, of songs written, recordings, all these different engineering sessions, maybe if you're an engineer.
Yeah.
And they expect people just to discover them, like they're standing at their living room window waving at cars, and people are just stopping in their driveway to buy whatever they're selling. And it doesn't work like that anymore.
Right.
It used to at one point, maybe because it had such a low competition rate, because nobody was on MySpace in the beginning.
Right.
Nobody was using Facebook when it was just for college students. So if you went on there and promoted your music, oh, there's somebody promoting music when everybody else is talking about their college activities and stuff like that. But now it's a necessity.
Right. I think this is a reason why talent doesn't excite me, because I know that I've seen just in my studio in Lansing, Michigan, some of the most talented people come in and they make a banger, and I don't get excited because I know that no one's ever going to hear the song, because they don't understand social media. They don't understand creating and putting out content around this product, which would be the song or whatever it is, and actually luring people in to be interested or give a when you actually put the song out.
So many times people look at the music as if that's what defines them. They are attached to the identity of a song today. They're attached to a sound that they have within the projects that they're working on now. But what happens to the guy that attaches his sound to crunk music back in 2005? What happens when it's completely irrelevant now in 2021? Does that guy become irrelevant because he attached himself to that, or does he evolve? Because there's plenty of artists, Lil Jon specifically,
that's what I was thinking of
he helped build the crunk movement. Then everybody around it built that out, and then it evolved into trap crunk, and then trap, I mean, I'm making up stuff right now. I mean, I don't know if they ever called it trap crunk, but like T.I. went from very crunk heavy tracks back when he was working with the Neptunes and working with other producers in the space, and then he evolved out into more of the trap sound that we're familiar with now, with the snare rolls, with all of these different things. And you have to evolve, and that really is predicated on who you are to a bunch of strangers, like I said, because if they feel attached to you, it doesn't matter if you're Machine Gun Kelly who went from hardcore rapper to like emo rocker now, people are going to continue to follow you. Look at Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, with all the Swifties making traditional, relatively traditional modern country music a decade ago. And then she said, you know what, I don't want to make country anymore. It doesn't feel like me. I want to change over to pop. There's some people that weren't very happy with her, but a lot of people went with her. And that's why she is who she is now, coming back with the record recently, Willow, which is more of a country record. So she's allowed to evolve. She's allowed to maneuver. Look at artists such as Lady Gaga, for example. How many times has her sound changed? You know, she has a soundtrack record that did huge numbers with Bradley Cooper. With the Shallow record, right? Yeah. And that's not what people were knowing her for when she was doing the Telephone track, when she was doing tracks with Beyonce and who knows what, doing all these dance records. She did projects with Tony Bennett, for that matter. But that's because people are attached to her as a brand, and social media built that for her. You can have a whole lot of product, you can have a whole lot of songs, you can have a whole lot of work that's there. But if I hold a hard drive right now and say that this is the most amazing collection of music that you've never heard, how do you access that hard drive? How do you get people to trust that you're telling the truth? You have no track record if you're not on social media. If you don't have any visibility, how are you going to be heard?
Right.
Because music doesn't magically land on playlists because it's good. Now, don't get me wrong. We do have outlying situations where somebody might have their first, like Olivia Rodrigo, driver's license song. And I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Kind of came out of nowhere. There's some stuff behind the scenes. I think she was like a Disney teen way back. But she has this driver's license song that goes crazy. And it goes crazy because of social media. It goes crazy because of TikTok. Now it's in commercials. All these celebrities are lip syncing it, playing it, sharing it, loving it. She comes out with an album, probably did more numbers than most traditional artists because of social media. So where do you start when you don't know what to do on social media? Where do you start when you're intimidated by it? Where do you start when you see all these other big artists that have all these big numbers, multi-million fans with blue check marks left and right, and you don't feel like anybody's going to listen to you? You don't feel like your voice matters. You don't feel like you have an audience, because you don't. Let's face it, but where do you start? I think what we'll do is we can break this all down in another video. I'm not ending the video, but that'll be in the description box, where we can go over the simple steps that you can take to build a brand from scratch. You can get on social media and start building some traction. You know, this guy right here has been in it for decades, been doing it for a long time. You're watching this video right now because he wasn't afraid to lean into social media when a lot of other people in the space were. He wasn't afraid to get his name out there. He wasn't afraid to get on camera. He's not afraid to work with artists and help them inject some of these strategies and some of these foundational elements into the artists, the producers that come through his studio, or some of you guys who are watching his videos on the behind the scenes stuff. You got, you know, Malik over here with the camera skills, and he understands the power of it. So you need to understand that it's not just all about the music. It's not just about the social media. It's woven in together. If you're a chef, you're not just worried about the frosting. You're worried about the consistency of the cake and the different baked goods that you're putting out there. But without butter, without flour, without sugar, you're not able to do the whole recipe. And social media is part of that recipe that we all need to focus on when it comes to building a career and building something special that'll last long term when it comes to music.
That's what I was thinking. When you were talking about evolving and actually having a career out of it, it's a necessity. I remember back MySpace days, right? I seen that MySpace was the thing that everyone was on. And so if I wanted to separate myself from my competition, I'm paying attention to MySpace. Okay, they got this many friends on MySpace, remember that? Or I used to have a music player. Let me get my statistics up. And so that, when MySpace was the thing, if you were big on MySpace, you had a better career. You were more connected to more people because of MySpace focusing on that. Then when it changed to Facebook, it's like whether you like it or not, Facebook's where it's at. I was one of the last people that actually converted from MySpace to Facebook, because I had like 200,000 friends on MySpace. I was the man on MySpace. I
was never in his top 12. I'm going to hold it over his head for the rest of my life.
And that's true.
We didn't know each other back in the MySpace days. I was killing it on MySpace back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
MySpace was where it was at. Well, then after Facebook, you have Instagram. And when TikTok first came out, I missed an opportunity. Mm-hmm. You know, I was one of the people like, oh, it's a new platform. I'm already doing YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all these different ones. I don't have time for it. But I wish, I'm saying this on record, I wish a year ago that I was going crazy on TikTok, because that could have changed my life today. Yeah. just from being on that platform.
We experienced the whole Vine trend come and go. And so we were jaded. We were like, no, this is going to be another Vine. It's going to come and go.
True.
And just like you, I missed the ship when it came to the first big pop that everybody was receiving from TikTok. But it's not too late for us to go on there and attack and build up, no different than YouTube.
Yep.
You know?
So if you're a music producer watching this and you got fire beats, or you're a camera guy and you're amazing at music videos, you're a music artist, you got great music, look at that as like the party. But how do you get people to show up to the party? And that's with the promotion and marketing. And where people are at is on social media every day. They're on their phones, they're scrolling through Instagram, they're scrolling through Facebook. So you need to be there.
Amen. Where do you start, like we talked about? You guys probably know that you need to be there. You might look at social media and consume a whole lot more than you create. I've been there, you've been there. A lot of people early on do that. And I invite you to do that because you got to understand what you like. You always want to lean into things that you're good at, things that you think that you would enjoy, and never feel like you're just fighting who you truly are just to try to make a whole bunch of strangers happy. We really need to merge the two. So I say that in another video. We stop and we break everything down. Where should people start? Where should people look to find inspiration? What people need to make the content? Because let's face it, you don't need a $10,000 camera and super fancy lighting. You don't need any of that stuff to get started. One thing I say all the time is use what you have until what you have pays for what you want. I know you've experienced it. I've experienced it. My boy Malik over there, my boy Chico over here, we've all experienced it, and you can too. And so over on my channel, let's break it down. Let's talk about your experiences. Let's talk about the steps that you can take to do that. And we can put a link in the description box below. If there's no link in the description box below, it's because we just went for food or something and we got lazy. Apologize. No, you got to follow through with this stuff, guys. That's one of the main points that we need to kind of push out there. Social media is all about sharing who you are. You know what? Let's not talk about it right now. We'll talk about it in another video. But if you're not on social media right now, what are you waiting for? You need to get on it, because next month, next year, next decade, when you say, oh, I really should have got on it, I really should have got on TikTok, we all do it. The only remedy to that is to get on it. So if you want to be heard, you need to be seen. You need to build an audience around what matters to you, because at the end of the day, marketing is pretty simple. You're passionate about something. A whole lot of strangers don't know who you are. You need to find those strangers and get them passionate about what you're passionate about. So click that link.
See you guys next video.
I wasn't trying to debo you. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get on a roll. I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I need to shut the f up and let him talk.